Whenever you see a headline about Frank Clark, for now, I guess it's being reported the second time in like 3 months or something like that, getting pulled over and then having an Uzi on him, a gun charge, 2 gun charges in California, which I would assume has pretty serious gun laws. This is the second time, I guess, in a short time that he was found with a gun in his car. An Uzi was found in his Lamborghini SUV. Okay, shout out to having a Lambo SUV, by the way. Congratulations. It's not easy. It's probably very expensive. You want a Super Bowl, you got a Lambo SUV. A lot of people are saying, why does this guy have an Uzi on him? He's rich. He made money in football. Why does he have this whole thing? Now, there's a couple things. Could be a collector's item. Okay, I have no idea. I saw a piece of art in Dana White's office that was like an AK that had a full. Now I don't know. I don't know if how this Uzi was. Was it painted, gold plated? Was it a collector maybe for Frank Clark? And maybe for you, it isn't a collector. I'm not collecting Uzis, but maybe this is something that he's into, or maybe he legitimately had this because he thought somebody was maybe threatening his life, or maybe needed some protection. You know, T.I. has a song after he got arrested for having a bunch of guns while he was on probation. He said, "You can't expect me to live my life like yours because my life ain't like yours." Okay, so the people that were judging him basically were like, "Why, you're rich? Why do you have this? You can pay security. Why do you have the gun in there?" And he basically said at the time that there was a group that came in and shot up his friend, and they had sent him a bunch of warnings. He's out of jail now, not allowed to have any guns on him, but there's an entire group of people that are telling him he's going to kill him. So when he got pulled over, I think in his house he also had some missiles,
like a rocket launcher.
Yeah, I think he was like strapped. Yeah, I think he was strapped. But he made an entire song about it. And I think listening to that song, and I was like, okay, valid point. Now, I don't know why you should have an RPG or a missile in there, but it's hard to necessarily for me to be like, Frank Clark is fucking out of his mind for doing this. Because although, and we said this earlier about the Carl Nassib situation, or coming out, not a situation, I guess, situation has a negative innuendo, so not that, but you get it, that whole thing, where I wish we lived in a time where everybody was like, no, that's dope, that's cool, don't worry about it, do what you gotta do. Obviously, we're not that time yet. I think a lot of people think we're already in that time, so whenever he says something like that, it's like, oh, it's not a big deal to kind of shoo it off. I hope we get to that point. That is, I think, like a fairy tale life. I think a lot of people live in this, especially whenever you think about the entire world. People are like, oh, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why is this decision made? Why is this going on? It's like, well, not everywhere, okay, is just like all, candy and nuts, okay?
Right.
Like, I wish that the world was like that. I've been very fortunate. I've gotten to travel and see how some things are in some places, and I believe as a whole, we're all getting better, hopefully. I have no idea. North Korea still exists. There's still something going on in other countries as well, all over the place. It's not just like we're at this perfect world, and we're obviously not that in America as well. And I think more and more we learn, whether it's you watch local news anywhere, there are sections and segments of our society that are nowhere near where we hope to be in just a couple years or maybe tomorrow. But there's shit that happens that people watch documentaries and movies. That's some motherfuckers' lives. Okay, that is some people's lives. It was very. I don't know Frank Clark. I don't know him well. I don't know him at all, actually. I just know him as a great football player. But then whenever you just automatically attack this guy for being an absolute idiot, it's like, okay, hey, valid. Should not have an Uzi in his whole thing. Why is he doing it? What's going on? Let's also ask about maybe who's fucking trying, who is he potentially tied to? Yeah. Family, friends, neighbors, old friends that he maybe grew up in a neighborhood that isn't perfect. And maybe there's something that is being said to him that we don't know about that he feels the need to protect himself. Once again, not cool that any of this is happening. I just think it comes from like more of an understanding thing. And then 2 hours after that, another NFL player is literally shot 4 times while sitting in front of his aunt's house in D.C. And people go, why does he have an Uzi in his Lambo SUV? And then a couple hours later, a man who's in the same league, okay, in the NFL, I don't think he has anywhere near made a presence in the NFL yet. He's a Pitt guy, but no offense to Pitt. Love Pitt. There's been a lot of Aaron Donald's an absolute stud. But I'm saying this guy's entire thing. So as soon as you hear that, I think it's just a nice little reminder to be like, oh, okay, not everybody's just fucking walking their dog every single day and doing their thing. There are some portions and places in our world, here in world in total, and America, where those documentaries and movies are made. And that shit's still happening in some places and for some people in some situations. We hope it isn't. But I think, let's get to a point where Frank Clark never feels like he should have a fucking Uzi, but also where a guy can go visit his family and not get shot 4 times. I think that's ultimately what was spotlighted through these 2 stories.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's from California, but like we hear it all the time, these guys make it to the NFL and they want to help out their communities too. So it's not like, none of those guys want to be a sellout where it's like, hey, I make all this money and then I just say fuck all these people who are probably struggling that don't just live in like suburban America. It's like, hey, some of these places are like legit rough and these guys are trying to invest some of their time and money back into it so that they can try to change shit like this.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where as soon as you see an Uzi and a Lambo, my first thing was like, I got an Uzi and a Lambo.
Yeah.
Like, that was my first thought because, by the way, rap songs, we listen to rap songs, those lyrics, although the person rapping them might not live the life that they are saying or portraying, somebody does. They got the inspiration from somewhere. It's just, I think this is more of like, hey, this is how some people feel like they have to survive, which is not great. Obviously, you've been in the NFL this long. You've had this amount of success. You've been this good. You hope you've been able to sever ties somehow. But sometimes that is just not possible. That is not something that's cool. And we all have kind of experienced that in life, I think. But goddamn, what did that Uzi look like? We get a photo.
Geez.
We get a photo of every Uzi
Probably
that gets
sweet scope on it, I'm sure.
You remember those ones that old Chapo had? Chapo had some Desert Eagle gold plated, and then he had this suit. I mean, I think for them that's their art, we got so much money, how do we spend it? Oh, I'd like to hang it'd be cool to get a fucking gold-plated 50 cal. Right, that would be insane.
And it happened to Marshawn Lattimore too earlier in the offseason where he got pulled over and he had weapons in the car with some of his buddies, and the cops were like, hey, look, I know you're from a certain area where this is casual, but like this isn't really like, you're on a different level now. You're in the NFL, you kind of have to carry yourself a little differently, but like when you have guys where you don't know who you're going to be around,
wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool for Marshawn to say to whoever said that to him? Oh, is that right? 2 people want that guy dead.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's my brother right there. Before I made it to the NFL, he happened to do something. That person, by the way, just got out of jail. So we don't know what's good. Like that would be that's the type of thing, by the way, that can happen. Like that, that legitimately could be happening, and it's insane. You hope it never has to happen, and it won't happen. But goddamn, I hope you guys. All right, never get to the point where you got to have Uzis in the SUV.
Hey, funny.
You guys let me know before you get there.
Coincidentally, Marshawn Lattimore and Frank Clark went to the same high school, so in Cleveland.
There you go.
There you have it.
There you go.
Okay, so who knows who's out to get who around
Ted
there?
Ginn's dad was their coach at Glenville.
Oh, track too, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was where Ted talked about the track and everything he did there. Had to run. What a crazy place. Let's get to a phone call here before hour 1 wraps up. But I think that is something, as we continue to learn stuff, I think we should, definitely not be cool with it. Be like, hey, this isn't cool. But let's maybe get the shovel out and let's dig a little deeper. You know what I mean? Let's see, how do we, you know what I mean? Instead of selling the gold, that people maybe find, let's look at the axe.
There it is.
What's getting us to this point? Let's go ahead and look a little bit deeper,